Hello, welcome to SwitchedOn Gaming. Paul speaking, and welcome to a look at a new Nintendo Switch game. This is Space Invaders Invincible Collection. I say it's new to the West. This came out in Japan earlier this year, I think, or maybe late last year. It's been out a while in Japan anyway, as an exclusive, and now comes West. This, if it isn't obvious, is a collection of Space Invaders games, more of a celebration of Space Invaders games, and comes with 10 different games. Plus, apparently, a downloadable game, Arkanoid vs Space Invaders, which I've not been able to find myself yet. Apparently, it's a download code, but I'm not sure where that is. But it comes from Inning Games. They're the publishers, and they say out on the 17th of August. We're going to have a quick look through each of these games. I'm sure people are familiar with Space Invaders, but there is a couple of little games here that aren't sort of your basic Space Invaders, and there's also one game that I will show you that is basically worth buying this package for. If you're going to buy it for one reason, there's an absolutely cracking version of Space Invaders on this collection. So we'll just run through them very quickly, especially these early ones. We'll start with 1978, the original Space Invaders, the arcade game. If you're a child of the 80s like myself, then the sort of thumping of the aliens going across the screen is just one of those noises that you heard as soon as you went into an arcade. A lot of the cabinets back in the day were kind of the sit-down cabinets as well. You got a lot of these in kind of pubs and clubs when you went on holiday. You know, the holiday entertainment centres would have these little sit-down cabinets. I remember many an evening whilst my folks were out at the entertainment centres having a drink, we would be stuck in front of the Space Invaders table with a bag full of 10p's. But yeah, this is the classic. So this, as I say, came out in 78. The original black and white version that everybody kind of is familiar with. This comes with one savable high score at the top as well. Although all of these, officially that is the arcade game. All of these games do come with online leaderboards. Let's jump to the second game, which is Space Invaders Color version. Also come out in 1978. Now this is the one that maybe more people will be familiar with. But imagine if you're an arcade buying loads of the monochrome cabinets, the black and white ones, and then within the same year they bring out a nice shiny colour version. You'd be pretty peeved, I would have thought. But this is the game that sort of solidified the colours of the aliens in this sort of purple, cyan and green format. And for as basic as Space Invaders is, I still think it's an absolute classic. I did try and make my own version. If you've followed the channel at all, you may know that I did a series on Fuse for Nintendo Switch, which is like a programming language, and covered that for a few months, put together some tutorials. And one of those was a series following my progress of making my own Space Invaders game. They're not as easy as you think. But check that out if you're interested in some of maybe the mechanics behind Space Invaders. But here we go, the Space Invaders Color. Very much the same game as the original, just with coloured aliens. Space Invaders Part 2 has come out in 1979. And this is kind of considered to be just a reworking of the original, sort of, smoothing off some of the edges. But a really interesting point in the comments on the right hand side there. This is the first arcade game that had a high score table, which is just absolutely amazing. What a piece of history high score tables went on to be. I love the way in this game as well, the aliens come thumping down at you. Much more menacing. But yeah, it just feels like a tighter game. A few small tweaks. But say the inclusion of that high score table must have been just absolutely brilliant in the arcades in Japan. Chance to save your score. Play against your mates. Really cool. But at its core, this is still the basic Space Invaders game, so we don't need to spend too much time on this one. You know what you're getting with that. That would be the version I'd play myself if you want to play the classic Space Invaders. Now we've got a couple of games that are based on the Space Invaders circuit board, but they made different games. They kind of reused the logic and the assets a little bit and refactored them. This is Lunar Rescue. This came out in 1979. So same year as Space Invaders 2. Quite an interesting game here. So I played a little bit of it and I quite liked it. You've got this like lunar lander that you have to guide down to the bottom and have a smooth landing. Ideally landing in that 100 pot. And then you pick up a... Oh, that's a bit unlucky. You pick up a stranded human from the base. Oof. Oh, missed the landing. Yeah, you pick up a stranded human from the base, and then you have to then guide them back to the ship at the top of the screen. This time by shooting the aliens. Very much Space Invaders style. And try and get your human back to the mothership. Very difficult. It's a pretty cool game though. Something a bit different to the original Space Invaders. Let's have one more quick go of just another life or two, depending on how well we do. If you can find a good path here, you can get right down to the bottom quickly, but then you've just got to slow your descent using the fire button. Pick up a human. Oh, meander your way back up. There's probably some great strategy here that I'm missing. We'll make this the last go and then we'll move on to the next one. See if we can get at least one human rescued. It's looking good. It's looking good. We dropped him. We dropped him on his head. But that's Lunar Rescue. I say it's a bit more of a novelty, that one. It's not going to be something that you'll spend a tremendous amount of time in. This next one is, I think it was from the same year. I think it's from 79 as well. And this is Space Cyclone. 1980. This one. And again, kind of a traditional aliens invading kind of gameplay. This time they're protected by those kind of meteors. As you may have sorry heard then, I spoke over it. I'll try and stay quiet next time it happens. But
we're coming.
There you go. This is like one of the first games. Synthesized speech. It's really cool for 1980.
Gotcha.
So a few little bits of synthesized speech in that. But again, it's pretty basic. Space shooter that. And again, it goes to show you, I mean, the assets aren't much different to Space Invaders. But what a difference in gameplay. Space Invaders is such a classic game. That, you know, games that aren't a million miles away from the formula. It goes to show you how much games need that X factor. Anyway, the next two games are a little bit of a... If I've got a niggle with this package, this is certainly one of them. It's a little bit of a sticking point. And that's Majestic 12 and Super Space Invaders 91 are basically the same game under a different name, which was a little bit cheeky. I get why they're both on here, because this is a collection. This is a collector's edition, a celebration of Space Invaders. So, you know, you'd want to include them both. You know, and it's not really at the detriment of another game. You know, another game hasn't been left off here to fit both of these on. It's just weird that there's two versions of the same game just under a different name, but that's what we've got. I remember playing this, I think, back on the Amiga. I think I had this on. You can tell it's a little bit more nuanced. You can fire your gun a lot quicker, or your laser. There's no actual shields. Oh, that's not good. Yeah, there's no shields as such, but your ship has a shield. You see in the bottom left hand corner, you've got kind of a shield bar, and when you get hit, damage gets taken off of that rather than having dedicated shields. Although, as you can probably see from a couple of the times it's happened, you get power-ups that drop down from the sky. Kind of an Arkanoid fashion, really, if you played Arkanoid. No! think we got away with that one. I think it give it to us. Oh, this stage, I really like this as a wrinkle on Space Invaders. It kind of, as you shoot the bottom aliens, the top ones fall down to fill it in. So you've always got them, you know, you can't sort of clear the bottom row to give yourself a bit more time. They're always coming at you. Very, very difficult. Very difficult. But I really like that. So that's quite a nice... I like this one because it sort of takes the formula on a bit. And adds a few more bits into it. There's also a... I think it's a boss fight there as well. But it's certainly a bonus level where you have to rescue cows that are being abducted by the UFOs. So they really went for it. 1990. So quite a big jump from Space Invaders 2 in 1979 to Majestic 12 and Super Space Invaders 91. So... But yeah, nice wrinkle. That's a really cool game to play. That feels a little bit more like a horizontal shoot 'em up. Next up, we've got Space Invaders DX. This came out in 1994. I think this was on the DS and the SNES, I think. Lovely. Winners don't use drugs. Splash screen now from if you remember the arcade back in the day, you'd know that one. There's actually kind of 3 different games on this one. So you've got the basic Space Invaders, the traditional Space Invaders. We've got a VS version where you play locally against a friend. And you've both got your own screen of invaders. And as you shoot yours, you can send them over to your opponent's screen to fill their screen up with more invaders. So that's a really cool little game. We're going to show you this one though, the parody game, just because it's something a little bit different. And probably the reason why you would come and play this one. And this is basically Space Invaders, but it uses assets from Tato's other games. So you can see here, your ship, in inverted commas, at the bottom of the screen, is actually the bird from New Zealand Story. And then some of the assets of the aliens are like from other Tato games. But come on, Tato, give us a port of New Zealand Story and Bubble Bobble. I know we've got a Bubble Bobble remake, but not quite the same. Let's have New Zealand Story. But it's basically Space Invaders just with a nice colourful twist. So again, nice as a kind of novelty. Different sort of UFO flying across the screen there. But yeah, it's a cool little novelty. Something a bit different. It might bring back some memories of some of those old Tato games as well. There you go. Now, as I said, we've got a game coming up that's, in my opinion, worth buying this package for. I'm going to leave it till last. This is Space Invaders Gigamax 4SE. This is a 4-player simultaneous monster of a game. And it is a giant Space Invaders. Basically, if you've got 4 mates, you can play 4-player co-op against this massive field of aliens, which I can imagine, if you got some mates as well, be a really good laugh as you battle for the highest score. There's a bit of glitching on the screen there. This is my capture card. For some reason, glitches out on some games. It did it with Mario Golf as well, so pay no attention. It's just playing up. So that's, again, a bit more of a novelty. You're going to need a few players, a few local players, to get the best of that one. But Space Invaders Gigamax 4SE. Now this is the game you want. Space Invaders Extreme. This is more akin to something like Luminous. Or even Tetris Effect, something like that. Basically, as you play the game, we'll go with arcade mode. Start a new game. As you play the game, there's a kind of a thumping soundtrack, and your interactions, so you're shooting, and the aliens that you shoot interact with the music like those puzzle games. And there's just loads of little extra twists in the formula. It's just brilliant. You get these really quick stages, really colourful. Obviously, like the loads of particle effects. We've got UFOs coming down the bottom of the screen. You get bonus points for shooting chains of aliens. So if you like shoot all the blue ones in one go, you get bonus points. If you destroy a row, you know, in one go, or a column in one go, you get bonus points. You can see along the top of the screen here, the sort of the bonus sections. We've got same shape, same colour, rows and columns, and it gives you sort of incentive to clear the whole screen. Some aliens there that were like acted like bombs. You got these aliens, like the green one on the screen here, with the little shield underneath it. Needs a couple of hits to kill it. And again, these red flashing ones are like bombs. You hit them and they destroy an area around them. These aliens here that flip sideways, that make them really hard to hit. They go to like 1 pixel wide. And these, obviously, these blocks of power-ups that are falling from the sky. Level up. Took a chance there. Aliens here that are shooting diagonally. So every little stage has its own wrinkle. Got a laser there, obviously, to clear it. Now then, we get to this point. We've got a, I think this is fever mode. So again, just something, a little bonus stage. Get like 15 seconds to destroy, I think, the UFO in the middle, but it's being protected, so we just about did that with 2 seconds left. Oh, now we've got fever mode. So it's just an absolute assault on the senses, but it's such a fun game to play. And again, just a reminder, all these games have online leaderboards. I should be playing more strategically here and aiming for rows and columns, but just to show you how the game plays, I'm just hammering the button. We've got some big aliens here. These bigger ones take a few more hits to destroy, so you can't kill them with one hit. But a laser makes pretty good work of them. Warning. And at the end of the stage, you get a boss, which is a cool feature. This one, you have to destroy the sort of brain of the boss there in the middle by killing these bricks that it's made up of. But they respawn, so you've got to be pretty quick to get in there. You've got to be pretty quick to get in there and attack the block in the middle of the alien. But there we go. We got through and destroyed it. At the end of the game, you get a ranking, so we're going to get our bonus points now. Stage result. So how many UFOs killed, features, chains, stage score. We've got rank B. So you get ranked on each stage. As you saw at the start, there's branching paths. So after we finish 2A, we can then choose to branch off, and then so on and so on until we reach the finish. Easier, branching towards the top. Harder, branching towards the bottom. But obviously worth more points. I'm going to quit out of that. We'll just go back to the main menu. Just show you the leaderboards. But as I say, if you're going to buy this compilation for any reason, if you're not buying it for the fact that it's a brilliant collection of Space Invaders games and a little slice of history, buy it for Space Invaders Extreme, because it's just such a good game. So press X to get the leaderboards. So that's the one for Space Invaders Extreme. Hover over each game here, press X to get the leaderboard for that game. So Space Invaders Original. Look how low that point total is. 9990 for the top score. It's probably the highest score that you can get in Space Invaders. Me and my poultry 790 there. But yeah, everyone has got a leaderboard. There's also a challenge mode in each game as well, and it changes the rules up slightly and it makes it slightly harder. And also each game's got this how to play on the Y button, so a little manual there, give you some tips as well about how to score better. Really excellent. So really good collection of games. Really cool. I'm so glad it's come to the West. I was a bit gutted when it came out and it was a Japanese exclusive, but really pleased now it's here. So there it is. That's Space Invaders Invincible Collection. 17th of August. Check it out. Let me know what you think below. Leave me a thumbs up if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you're new. Leave me a comment below if you're picking this one up. Really like to hear from you, obviously. And just thank you all for watching the video. See you all next time. Cheers, everyone. Bye-bye.